it's Bliss, and today I'm going to be doing a new products review video, and I've got a few of the Fenty makeup by Rihanna from Sephora makeup. I've got a few of those. I've got some free samples from Sephora that I've never tried. I've got some makeup that I maybe swatched or used once or twice but never really played around with that I'm going to use. I'm just going to mainly use stuff that isn't my regular makeup. As far as primer, I've already got that on. I'm using the same primer I always use, the Too Faced Hangover Primer. And a few of my other products are going to be the same, so I'll just cut those parts from the video. So if I randomly show up with eyebrows halfway through the video, then that's why. But yes, so I've got new highlighters and things like that that you've never seen me use. I'm going to put on fake lashes for the first time, and I think I'm going to use the same brushes that I always use. Like I've said before, I don't have that many brushes, so I'm going to use what I have. Alright, let's get started. Now I know my heart is a ghost town. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. Now, I did my best as far as getting the right shade, but the Sephora lighting isn't necessarily the greatest, so I did what I could. I got one of the lighter colors, obviously, and it's in the shade 170, I believe. I have some of my traditional foundations with me right now, just in case this isn't quite the right shade. But I'm going to try to mainly just use this one. Oh, oops. It says to shake well, so. Alright, I think that should be good. So, what I've heard, because I've watched some other people use this so far, just so that way I could kind of get a feel for it before I used it. What I've heard is that it kind of oxidizes, and also it dries pretty fast, so if you're going to use it, it is best to just do maybe half your face at a time. And you know me, I always like to spray it on the, I always like to put some on the back of my hand and dot it all over my face, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that today. Also, just to kind of see the difference between using a brush to apply it and using a beauty blender to apply it, since I have to do it half face at a time anyway because of how fast it dries. Half of my face I am going to use a beauty blender, and the other half of my face I am going to use a foundation brush. I'm just going to spray it directly on my damp beauty blender and just kind of go in here. I hope this is my color. Wow, it's a pretty good match. I've also heard that this foundation is more of a medium coverage and it can be built up to a full coverage, so we will see about that. I am a full coverage gal because of my acne and stuff. I will say it is definitely more of a medium coverage foundation, and I would say you would probably have to use a little bit more of this foundation than you would your normal foundations, and that's just from me using the beauty blender so far. Maybe it's different with the brush, but so far that's what it's seeming like. When I put this on the back of my hand, I was so shocked at like the texture of it because of how matte it makes your face. Okay, that was, I would say, 3 pumps, I think, for my face to get half my face at medium coverage. So you do have to use a little bit more of this foundation than you are used to for sure. Then I'm just going to take a Wet n Wild foundation brush, foundation and concealer brush, and I'm just going to use this to apply it. And I'm going to put this directly on the brush here and just start applying that. Okay, so I used just 1 pump on the face so far, and I think the brush provides a lot more coverage. I think that because of the texture of this foundation, that a beauty blender tends to soak up more product. Now I've heard, I think I watched Laura Lee do a review on the makeup, and she said that the beauty blender, the Fenty Beauty Blender, seemed to soak up product, and I'm just using the Real Techniques one but I think that also tends to soak up the product. So as far as this foundation, from what I've seen so far, it is better to apply it with a brush. Now I'm going to go in with a second pump and get some areas I didn't get and recover some of the areas that I already have. And yes, this foundation does oxidize, as you can tell. When I put it on, it seemed like a direct match, but it is actually a little bit darker, so I may have to use a little bit more concealer to lighten up my face today. It has a slight fragrance. It almost smells like a lotion, kind of, or like how skincare products sometimes have like a slight perfumey scent. That's kind of what it smells like. Okay, so I've used about 5 pumps of this so far, so I'm going to go in with another one and bring it down to my neck to kind of make it blend in better, since it does oxidize just a little bit. So what I would recommend with this foundation is going just a shade lighter, because it does oxidize, maybe even 2 shades lighter, so that way whenever it does dry down and it oxidizes, it is actually your color. Now, I'm somebody who usually mixes foundations anyways, so this isn't going to be a big deal for me. Just something to keep in mind. Now, for certain areas like my chin area here where I usually break out no matter what I do, I am going to just cover those a little bit more. It is a buildable foundation without looking cakey, so that is great. However, I would have liked to have seen maybe just a little bit more coverage from this foundation, but it's nothing that I'm mad about, because I do really like the texture that this foundation is. Now, as far as recommending the foundation, if you get a couple shades lighter to avoid the oxidization and you don't really care too much about having a foundation that is super full coverage right off the bat, I would recommend this to you, since it is a buildable foundation. If you are a girl who does like full coverage, you can achieve that look without it being too cakey, but you do have to use a little bit more of the product than you are used to, and this does only come with 1.08 fluid ounces, so just keep that in mind. That's kind of about what normal foundations are. The Too Faced foundation comes with 1.0 fluid ounces, so it does come with a little bit more 0.8 fluid ounces than normal foundations, but you do have to use more, so I would say it probably evens out as far as how long it lasts. Alright guys, so I am back. I did concealer and then I powdered where I had concealer at. I did cream contour and then I did power contour over that. I lined my lips, I did my eyebrows, and I put on some eyeliner. Now I tried to stay away from the highlighted area as far as putting on powder, because I didn't want to put on too much powder because I want to see, you know, what the liquid highlight looks like. Now it is going to go over some powder, so it'll probably not perform quite as well as it would otherwise, but I am going to be trying this out as a base before I try out the Fenty Beauty highlighter. So we're going to just put a little bit of this on my finger and try to dab it onto my cheekbone and certain other areas. It is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Illuminator and Opal, yes. Now I got this as a sample from, I think, either Sephora or Ulta a while ago, and I've never really used it because I always thought that it would be maybe too dark for me. But I do have more of a tan than I did when I first got it, so I'm just gonna try this out. It does really show your pores, so if that is something that bothers you, that might not be the product for you. Now I know that I am using the Fenty Beauty powder highlighter underneath, but I did swatch that already, and as far as the performance of it, it isn't really a blinding highlight, and I like blinding highlights. It's more of a subtle highlight, so I am putting this on underneath, hoping that maybe it'll make it just a little bit more blinding. And I'm going to take the Beauty Blender and I'm just going to blend that out just a little bit more, because I feel like I didn't quite get it right with my finger. Now, update on the foundation as far as putting products on top of it. Just then, with the highlighter, I didn't have any issues blending on top of it. Now, when I tried to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit to put over top It took me a little bit more time to blend it out than it normally would have just because of the texture of the foundation with it. I'm going to take the Fenty Beauty highlight here. It is the Duo, and it is in, yeah, it's the Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo. And it is in Mean Honey and Hustla Baby. Now, I didn't want to get too pale of a highlight because I do put on a little bit, pretty. I do put on a little bit of contour and bronzer, which makes me look pretty dark, and I didn't want to have like a stark white highlight with all of that. This is what it looks like. It's a cute, compact, really nice mirror. I am going to just, on one side, I'm going to take one of my Tarte Cosmetics Unicorn brushes that I usually use for highlight because it gets more of a targeted highlight. I'm going to use that on one cheekbone, and then I'm going to try the Sephora Pro Fan Eventail 65 brush and do the other side and see which one I like better. Now, I know that this side, which is, I think this side is, yeah, that side is Mean Honey, and it is supposed to be more of a subtle highlight, and this is supposed to be more of a glitter highlight. So I think that I'm going to put on Mean Honey at first, see what that looks like, and then put on Hustla Baby over top to see what they look like layered, to maybe see if it gets that desired effect. I may have gotten too dark of a color. Maybe I did need the lighter color. And I'm just going to put Hustla Baby over top of that. Girl! Now, I don't know if it's because I layered Mean Honey and Hustla Baby on top of a liquid highlight or not, but I am living for that glow. Do you see this? This is a win for me. This is for sure a win for me so far. But let's try it with a fan brush first. So I'm going to go back in with Mean Honey and put that over top. And as far as the color, I think it's fine when you layer them. I think Mean Honey just looked a little too dark on its own. But when you put Hustla Baby over top, it makes it a lot better. Woo! Even the fan brush is getting it, girl. Now, as far as which brush I like better, I think they pretty much do the same job. But I do like the Tarte brush better for putting it on your nose, so I'm just going to do the same thing for my nose. Kind of bring that out above my eyebrow bone there, just to really blend out that, and then put just a little bit of Hustla Baby only on my Cupid's bow. As far as the Fenty Beauty highlighters, I highly recommend just make sure you get the one for your skin tone. I did really want to try out Trophy Wife, but I am a little bit of a pale beauty, so I could not try that. I thought that it was going to be a little bit too gold for me, but for you dark skin beauties, that would be perfect on your skin tone. Let's see here. Now I'm going to try out new eyeshadow combinations, and I'm just kind of going to go in with like crazy stuff. Now, I am using, this is a Tarte gift box. It doesn't really have a name, but I haven't really done a full look or a look really at all using this palette. I've just played around with it because at the time that I got this, I kept getting other eyeshadow palettes and I just never used this. So I'm gonna set my eyelids using the shade On Display. Now I'm gonna go in with, it's called Take It Easel, and I'm just gonna put that in my crease. Alright, now I feel like I need to deepen it up, so I'm going to go in with Go For Baroque down here, and I'm going to use that and also put in my crease. I'm going to tap that off. Oh, goodness. And I'm going to go back in with Take It Easel, which is that color right there, and I'm just going to blend those out just a little more. I went in with a little bit of a heavy hand there. Now, I don't know if this palette is limited edition or not. I'm sorry if it is. I'm sorry that I have so many limited edition products that I use. I just can't help it. I feel like I'm one of those people that gets sucked in as far as limited edition products go, and I always want to use or buy a limited edition product just because it's limited edition and I know like I'm never going to see it again, so I freak out and I go buy it. And then they launch it 6 more times before they officially sell out of it, so As far as these shadows so far, I'm really liking them as far as for the transition. Now I'm going to do a bunch of different stuff with my eyes. I have so many eyeshadow products that I've never tried just because I keep buying palettes and palettes. Now I'm going to try out Eye Off Metallic Eyeshadow from Hard Candy, and it's in the shade Ditch, which is a gold color. And so I think it comes with an applicator that you just kind of brush on your eyelid here like this. I'm just going to brush that on a little bit on my eyelids, and then I'm going to blend it out with my finger. Woo, girl, this product dries fast. So when using this, work fast. I would say stick to one eye at a time, because as soon as you put it on, it starts drying. Now, as far as it being super metallic, maybe it's because I blended it out with my finger, I am not sure, but it is not quite that metallic. I think blending it out with my finger actually took away all of the product. I don't really like this. I don't recommend it. Maybe applying it with a brush would be better. Since I didn't really like the Hard Candy eyeshadow, I'm going to take the Kathleen Lights and a ColourPop collaboration, their Super Shock shadows, and shade Telepathy, which is a really pretty gold color with a little bit of a greeny undertone. Oh goodness, girl, this is starting to break. What did I do? I've maybe swatched this a couple of times, but I've always been too afraid to put it on. It actually reminds me quite a lot of Trophy Wife by Rihanna as far as her highlight, except this is an eyeshadow. So I'm going to take the, whoa goodness, going to take the Urban Decay De-Slick Setting Spray, and I'm going to spray a Wet n Wild shader brush. Then I'm just going to dip into the shadow here and just apply that directly onto my eye. Woo, that is a pretty color. Wow. I like that. That is a very pretty color, so I highly recommend the ColourPop Super Shock shadows. I'm assuming that they're, did I say that right? Super Shock shadows, because I'm assuming they're all pretty much the same formula, and I highly recommend this color, especially if you have green eyes, because I feel like the green undertone really makes your eyes pop. So this is a go for me. Now I'm going to go in with the Alice in Wonderland Urban Decay Through the Looking Glass palette, and I've played around with this also, same kind of thing as the Tarte palette. So I am going to go in and I'm going to take this chessboard color here, and I'm going to use the brush that came with the palette, and I'm going to put that into my crease here and a little bit on my outer corner. Wow, that has really nice pigment. So far, I'm liking these shadows. Since the Super Shock shadow is so bright, I do think that I'm going to have to go in and make the outer corners and the transition just a little bit smokier. And this palette doesn't have very many matte colors, so what I am going to do is I'm going to go back into the Tarte palette. Again, I think both of these are limited edition. I'm really sorry. And I'm going to take the shade Make the Gradient, which is a really dark brown color with a little bit of a purpley, almost black undertone, and I'm just going to focus this mainly on the outer corner here. I am so sorry about that sound if you can hear it. One time when I was filming a video, this is a couple videos ago, there was somebody driving down the street in a tractor, and it was making the most annoying sounds. Only in my town, someone driving in the street in a tractor. Great. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Take It Easel again and just blend that out. Now I'm going to take It Easel and run it underneath my lash line. Then I'm going to go in with Go For Baroque, which is that medium brown, and I'm also going to run that underneath my lash line just to deepen it up a tad. And then once I get little to nothing on the brush, I'm just going to blend all of this out to try to make it more seamless. Also, another limited edition product. I'm really sorry. I need to work on that. But I'm going to go in with the Tarte eyeshadow slash highlighting palette and Make Believe in Yourself. I've used this a little bit before, but again, never really done a full look with it. And I'm not going to put it on my eyes today since I do already have a really nice eye look, but I am going to use it for my brow bone. I'm going to use it for my brow bone and inner corner highlight, and I'm just going to take a Tarte brush because I feel like that's fitting. And I am going to go in with the shade Marvel, which is a really, really gold shade. And I'm going to put that in my inner corner. And also put it on my brow bone here. Then I'm going to layer on top of that in my inner corner mainly the white shade in the middle, and I have no idea what the name of that is. I'm just going to layer that over top. Ooh, pretty. Loving this as well, although I already knew that I liked this from looking at it. I just really like shimmery products. So, Bare Minerals Lash Domination Volumizing Mascara. And I got this as a sample when I bought the Fenty Beauty products. It is really hard to use mascara with a wand this tiny, might I add. I wanted to love this, I really did. And as far as the formula, it's not that the formula is bad or that the brush is bad, but I have tried mascaras that are comparable. It's not blowing my mind. I would say this wouldn't be a bad mascara to try if you're somebody who likes more natural looking lashes. Now I like something that really pops. This is taking me forever because it's just so hard to do. Okay, so my final review of the mascara. It is not the worst mascara I've ever tried, but it is also not the best mascara I've ever tried. I would say it's pretty average for a mascara. Again, not my favorite. Do I recommend it? Meh. Alright, so I went ahead and did my lips, and I put a little bit of liquid liner on my lash line just because I don't feel like that mascara did enough for my lash line. Now, I have used these eyelashes before, and they are the Ardell lashes in 120 Demi Black. The reason why I'm putting these in my first impressions video is because this is the first time that I have ever cut my eyelashes to actually fit my normal lashes. And what I do is I take the Duo White Clear Lash Glue and I just put this kind of right there on the packaging, and I take the lashes and I dip the corners first, and then I go through and dip the rest of the lash band in this. Or I hold it. Sometimes you gotta wipe off the extra, and I blow on it and move it like this and let it semi-dry before I put this on my eyelashes. So I think that this is good. This is hard to do on camera, so I hope you can see. I will try to narrate as much as possible. First thing I do is I hold it in the middle and I stick the middle on where it's supposed to go and hold the middle on for a few seconds. Then I go to the outer corner and then I go to the inner corner and push those in. I think that I finally got that on right. Now I'm going to go back and do the same thing with the other eye. But pretty much you got the gist of how I put on my eyelashes. They don't look quite correct right now because, again, it is harder to do on camera. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. As far as a recap on the products. The first new product was the Rihanna Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Matte Foundation. All I would say is work fast and make sure you get a shade or two lighter because it does oxidize, but it is like $34 I think is what it retails for at Sephora, and I do recommend it because it is about the same price as other foundations. It does come with a little bit more foundation than some other foundations come with, and I really like the texture of it. The next new product I believe was the Becca Opal Shimmering Skin Perfector in the liquid form. I love that. I got a sample size for free, so I'm not really sure what that retails for. I think it's somewhere around $30 to $40 as well for the full size, and I would recommend that as well. The Rihanna Kilowatt Duo Highlighters, I got Money Honey and Hustla Baby, the duo, and I recommend that. As you can tell, it is a really nice highlight. That is also around $35, and I would recommend that as well. The next new products I tried was the Tarte limited edition eyeshadow palette and the Urban Decay Alice in Wonderland limited edition palette. I like both of those. The Urban Decay has a little bit of fallout, but they're both really pigmented and they can blend out very nicely, so those were a hit for me as well. The ColourPop Super Shock Shadow and Telepathy, the Kathleen Lights duo, I really love that. Highly recommend, and I think those are only like $6 to $12. I'm not sure, somewhere in that range, but they're pretty cheap. They're drugstore price and they're great, as you can tell. The next new product I tried was the Tarte eyeshadow slash cheek palette, and it is their limited edition unicorn palette, and I put that on my inner corner and my brow bone, and that was a hit for me. And then as far as eyelashes, of course I've loved these eyelashes forever. As far as trimming up the eyelashes, I think it makes it look a lot better and blend seamlessly in with your natural lashes. But anyway, I think everything I tried was a hit for me, and the ones that weren't limited edition that I can recommend for you, I do recommend. There are a few disclaimers with all of those products that you need to just be a little careful about, but otherwise it was a hit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.